Assalamu alaikum, everyone. On behalf of the NED Alumni Association Canada, I am warmly welcome all participants to today's webinar session titled Choosing IT Networking and Cybersecurity as a Career Path. Thank you all for joining us today. We are delighted to see students, graduates, and professionals participating from different regions. Before we begin the session, I would like to invite Vice President of NEDAC, Dr. Aves Mangal, to share a few words with the audience. That's all.
जी बहुत शुक्रिया जस भाई Assalamu alaikum audience attendees, thank you very much for calling in at this time of the weekend, which is the morning probably on the east side, but if you are on the west side calling in, it might be even earlier. So I appreciate you joining our webinar. NED Alumni Association, like Ajaspai mentioned, that it is a registered non-profit professional organization within Canada with a registered member totaling over 950. And this gives us immense pride in the sense that arguably we are the largest registered member organization, alumni organization in Canada, if not in North America. In North America, the North American schools may be larger, but the Pakistani origin school, which is NED, तो ये हमारी अब तक जो हमारे इल्म में अब तक की largest है. I've been to 3 different schools, and I can very clearly say that the emotional attachment that Canadians have with its alma mater is unmatched. There are very few schools in the world. Even if you talk to your kids, if you're as old as I am, my kids go to University of Windsor and all, they don't have that feeling towards their school, which we have for our undergrad school, which is NED. Even if you talk to the kids who go to U of T or McGill or even other big school on the other side of the border, there are very few schools where alumni are so much attached to their alma mater. So it gives us a immense pleasure at the same time and an opportunity to share our experiences with others. And in this regard, we have this committee, which is the professional development, headed by Alim Bhai, I should rather say Dr. Alim Alvi, and a joint secretary Ajaz Bhai. They lead this effort where they invite our NEDians mostly to give the webinar that benefits most of us. So I think in this regard, it's a great effort from our alumni association to share our experiences and also guide the newcomers or even those who wants to change their career at some point in time, or if they want to know what's on the other side of the aisle, for example, for a mechanical engineer, what to learn from the AI or the IT or the cybersecurity, like today's seminar or webinar. So I think it's a great opportunity to be part of. That's one of the mission and the vision of our alma mater. And of course, like any other alumni association, we have other missions as well. For example, we support students and so on. So for any alumni association, there are 3 basic pillars. The pillar number 1 is that how do we support the existing students of our alma mater? The pillar number 2 is that how do we support our alma mater itself in various different ways, whether funding a renovation of a classroom or a lab and so on and so forth. And of course, the third pillar, which is a very strong pillar, how do we support each other, our alumni body? And in this regard, I think today's webinar is along those lines. So I truly appreciate our committee to invite the speakers from across the domain to come up and share their experiences. So I also take this opportunity, if there are any other ideas among the attendees who like to present to the wider alumni body, the floor is open. You can contact Alim Bhai or Ajaz Bhai, and then we can schedule the webinar seminar so that others can benefit as well. So I think at this point in time, our speaker, Haris Chughtai, hopefully he's in or not yet.
Thank you very much, Dr. Avis, for your
Sure.
inspiring words and continued
Sure.
support for the NED community.
Absolutely.
And thanks for your kind words for us. And I would request Dr. Khalid Ali Alvi, Secretary, Training and Mentoring Committee, to say a few words.
Assalamu alaikum,
That's it.
everyone. So, thank you, Yasam. Today, actually, the area which is my area, and the presenter is Haris Chughtai Saab. He also in the same area. He will give the some introduction and career path for the cyber security. I think Haris Saab is here, so I'm just taking few words, and then I return back it to the Hajaz Saab, and then inshallah the presentation will be started. Cybersecurity is very important area nowadays, and everybody knows that. Everybody has cell phone in their pocket, laptop on the table. So all these are connected things, and nobody actually can deny the importance of these communication devices and others. So, and if these devices are in danger or some attacks happen and they don't know, so that makes very costly impact on their lives and their what you call financial values, and a lot of things might happen. So that's why cybersecurity is always important. And nowadays, artificial intelligence is also part of it. So that's why we are thinking to new generation should join this field. And plus with AI, so might be very helpful for them and obviously the society. I think I have to request to Ijasa, please carry forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saab, for your kind words. And now it's my pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Mr. Haris Chughtai. Mr. Haris Chughtai is an experienced professional in the field of IT networking and cybersecurity. Today, he will guide us through career opportunities, specialization areas, learning roadmaps, and practical steps to begin a successful journey in the rapidly growing industry. We are grateful to him for taking the time to share his knowledge and experience with the NEDAC community. Without further delay, I would like to hand over the session to Mr. Haris Chughtai. Haris Chughtai, floor is yours, sir.
I think your microphone is off. Can you open your microphone?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks Ijaz Saab, and thanks rest of the NEDAC team. Really appreciate this opportunity. And being a member of the NEDAC, definitely it's a great form, and really appreciate all the efforts done by the rest of the NEDAC management and the NED Alumni Association Canada. And I think I'm sure right now in this session we have the members from Pakistan and all across the GCC maybe and North America as well. So definitely it's a great opportunity, and really appreciate this chance given to me. So inshallah we'll start. So just to let me start. Okay, thanks everyone, and really appreciate the presence, but apologize for the delay. I had to restart my PC. It was, I think, long overdue, and it has to go through some updates and so on. So apologize for that. So let's start. My name is Haris Chughtai. I have been in the IT industry for close to 30 years now, and graduated from NED in sometime in 1997. And after that, started working in Pakistan, worked in a couple of companies in Pakistan, and then moved to Canada. In Canada, I did my master's from University of Toronto and keep working in telecom companies, different telecom companies. And after that, I went to Middle East. I worked in Etisalat for about a decade. Then returned back to Canada. So I've been working in telecom and IT and cybersecurity and networking for most part of my my career. I started with the telecom in terms of satellite communication, in terms of the radio communication, but later on quickly switched to the completely to the IT, right? Because that was the time IT was booming, and that was the right I think decision I took actually. Though I did my electrical engineering, but I ended up working in IT throughout my career. So I think This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to share my experience that I have for last 30 years and why it is important and significant career path for some of us who may have interest in this field. I'll just quickly give you an overview what this field is about, what this career uh, entails, what could be the potential fields that you can adopt, and also the study path, the learning path, how should you step into this field, right? How should you start now? Let's say if you don't know anything about it. So that's the idea. Let's go through that. And if you have questions, you can ask in the middle anytime. Otherwise, I think hold your questions till the end, and we'll inshallah entertain the once we go to the end of the presentation. So, as I said, right? So, what we are going to discuss today is that what this field is about, why is it a good decision to make it a career path, and what these people do, like who are working in networking and cybersecurity field, what are their day-to-day activities and what type of roles they assume, right? And then once we into this field, we'll look into the specialization areas that you can become an expert on, and what are the potential growth areas and areas of expertise that you can make yourself as an SME subject matter expert, right? And second last, we'll go through the learning path, right? If you are starting from today, which is I call it day zero, then how should you go about learning into and entering into this field, right? And in the end, we'll take question and answers. So let's start what exactly it is. So first start with the networking. In this entire slide deck, I'll keep networking and cybersecurity as two separate career paths, but giving them side by side comparison how and they align because they go hand by hand. Actually, they work very closely, and if you know one and not the other, then it will be a trouble. So it's always good to have knowledge of both, right? When you talk about the IT networking, what it is, right? So in simple and plain words, is about connecting, right? Whatever you connect in terms of the devices, in terms of the computers, servers, printers, applications, you name it, right? Anything that you need to connect. And in today's world that we live in, everything is about connectivity, right? Every single thing that we do, it's about connectivity. If we don't have internet at home, then we becomes that life is becomes very difficult. And it's not about fun only, it's about the real work, right? A lot of people are doing their day-to-day activities, their functions, and the way they actually make their living. So it's based on internet and connectivity, right? So connectivity is very important. And IT networking is all about connecting the devices to the people. That's the most important message, that how the people can leverage this connectivity for their use and their needs and to get their job done and to make their life more efficient and more better, right? So important part of the networking is the connecting devices to the people and devices to the devices also. And normally what happens when you say connecting, normally when you talk about the networking, that we connect devices could be computer, laptops, desktop, phones, routers, switches, firewalls, any device. And then end of the day, what happened, devices are just the transport or transient. And most importantly is the software and application that people use, right? Let's say if you are sitting at home, we are using internet, we are using web browser, and we are using Instagram or any other application. So end of the day, people want to use the application, but networks make it possible, right? Without network, you cannot access the tools and application that you want to access. So important thing in the networking is that you have your device and you have your application, and in between you have your network, right? So the network is the one which connects you to your desired tools and applications. Third thing is that how does it work? Actually, it's mainly about, as I said, is about getting you access to the application and tools that you want to work on. And sometimes we do it for fun. We go through the internet, we use the application, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, right? And sometimes it's for real serious business, right? A lot of people work from home. A lot of people do their business based on internet and connectivity. So important thing is that it's about connecting and also sharing the resources. Let's say you want to send an email. Let's say right now we are doing this video conference, right? And you want to print a file. A lot of time printers used to be on premises, just connecting to your local network, but now printers are remote. People have centralized printers, right? Printing jobs are done only on certain centralized printers. So the network is the one which makes it possible to send your print jobs from your computer to the printer. So end of the day, networking is very critical, is a foundation for a lot of things that we are seeing over the internet. If connectivity is not there, if network is not there, then lot of things that we see on internet will not work. Internet is essentially, it's a big network. Internet, you can think of internet is a bunch of different devices and computers and web servers connected together, and they all are making it a internet, right? So essentially, networking is about internet. When you talk about internet, is the most important thing about internet is the connectivity, because internet is started as a small scale Department of Defense, project, and later on, it becomes as a global phenomena, right? So right now, this global phenomena has become as the networking and connectivity evolve, and it becomes so essential that today, if a cable cut happens in our home or in our country or whatever, we all feel the suffering, right? So connectivity is important, networking is very important for any service that we use today. Now, second thing is cybersecurity. Cybersecurity, it's about protecting your digital assets or data, right? Whatever the digital assets you have, when we talk about this is a simple definition I'm giving you, that a simple thing is that protecting your digital asset, your data, your devices maybe, and more important thing is your data, right? The data is they say it new gold, right? So data is the gold. So the most important thing is the data. And apart from data, you have a mobile devices, your computers, your servers, your web servers, your emails. So we want to protect all of that, right? So cybersecurity is the mechanism. I would say is not only the tools, is the entire framework where you have tools, you have systems, you have processes, and they all are aligned to make the our digital life secure, right? The important thing is that whatever we are doing in the digital world, we are accessing an application, we are accessing email, we are doing some work, and someone else might have been interested in what we are doing. They may be interested in abusing us, abusing our information, and doing the privacy breach or personal breach or commercial breaches and so on and so forth. So because information is the new gold, right? So maybe they want to take this gold from us and use in their favor and in our disadvantage, right? So cybersecurity is the mechanism of tools and processes and technologies to protect our digital presence on this in this world. So going forward, just a quick comparison between the networking and cybersecurity, because this session is mainly just to give you the roadmap and the path, and you can decide which way to go. So just to give you an idea that when we talk about the IT networking, when we talk about the cybersecurity, what are the core traits we are talking about, right? So in when we talk about the networking, the most important thing we say is to maintain the connectivity and infrastructure, whatever the networking and cabling and routers and switches and firewall, whatever we have. Important thing is to make sure that's up and running, right? Because networking is all about the connectivity. But when you talk about the cybersecurity take a different turn, right? Because cybersecurity talks about maintaining your data security, your asset security, right? So we talk about the confidentiality, integrity, availability, means that it should only be available to who is meant to be. It's not that I'm sending an email to person A and is somehow person B is having access to that. So integrity is also very important, that when I'm sending an email or data file, it should not be changed. So cybersecurity looks more from the security perspective, and networking looks more from the connectivity perspective. And when we talk about the networking, normally what we have routers, switches, we network design the network, we monitor the network, and things fails at times, cable cut happens or misconfiguration happen, and connectivity breaks. So we networking people go and fix those connectivity and make sure that network is always up and running. On the other side, cybersecurity team, they look at the security design, they do the security design, they do security monitoring, they make sure that digital assets are protected. If there are any theft activities happening, ransomware activities happening, they are meant to protect it. And at the end of the day, sometimes threat hunting activities happen, which are the proactive way of finding if there are any threats in my network, right? In terms of tools, in networking world, we have routers, switches, load balancers are the most common tools that we interact with, we work with. Mostly routers and switches are pretty much 100% in every single network you find router and switches. So its knowledge is very premium, is very important. Load balancer are definitely there in strategic accounts and strategic networks, but router and switches are pretty much everywhere. When we talk about the security, in security, firewalls is the first thing we deal with, but firewall is just one line of defense, right? There are many other line of defenses. Now, technology is evolving, a lot of new tools are coming, EDR, MDR, XDR, same threat monitoring tools. Now, AI is embedding all these tools. So it's becoming more tools oriented, but at the same time, you need to have the insight and knowledge to find your desired outcomes from these tools. So it's not easy to get the desired outcomes. So that's why you need the cybersecurity experts to get the useful and meaningful information and do the troubleshooting and analytics from these tools. Normally, networking is kind of bit easier to get in because we all understand the network, basics of network. We all have our home network. We all have Wi-Fi at our home network. We understand the basic foundations. We know the Wi-Fi. We all connect our devices to the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is connected to the internet. We got the connectivity. So networking, we all unknowingly, we have base knowledge of networking. We all, regardless is technology background or not, we all know the networking a bit. But cybersecurity definitely is a different skill set, different mindset. You need to have a little bit more knowledge about how to identify the threats, how to fix the threats, how to, hunt the threats and so on. So definitely they are two different mindset. But end of the day, I would say that networking knowledge is foundation to everything we do. Even in cybersecurity, in order to troubleshoot the issues and sometimes threats, you need to have the networking knowledge. So base networking knowledge, I would say pretty much everyone needs, regardless you are a networking group or the cybersecurity group. An important thing in the networking is to important thing maintain the connectivity, keep it running. And cybersecurity, we have to keep it safe, means that we can trust, but we have to always verify the trust. There is no implicit or default trust. There used to be old days when people somehow got some default trust that, okay, we are in the office network, so it's trusted. No, it's not there anymore. Nothing is trusted. And that's the new world we are living in. So we call it the zero trust model, right? Where we don't trust anyone. Everything has to have the credential have to be verified, and this verification has to happen constantly. So cybersecurity is definitely evolving a lot. A lot of these things are happening. Networking on the other side evolving, but not at the same pace as the cybersecurity. So just a quick some statistic just to give you an idea that why it is a good career path, why it could be a good career path, and why it makes sense to make it a career path. So the thing is that the way industry is evolving, the way technology is evolving, the way new applications are launched every single day, and you have billions and trillions of networks connected, and you have thousands of applications. People are building their own applications. So now, what happened with this evolution of IT, and now AI is coming into the picture also. There is a huge demand, right? So what happened that this is the projected growth actually from the US Bureau of Statistics that they are given these numbers, and they are saying that this is a statistic between 2023 to 33, right? Is a 10-year projection. What they are expecting is that we will have a 33% growth in cybersecurity analysts because cyber threats are increasing. So there will be more demand for the SOC analyst or security analyst to look and troubleshoot these cyber threats, right? At the same time, network architects and network admins growth is always there. Network will always be there. Network is not going away, although there is some innovation happening on the networking part with the automations and with AI and all that. But at the same time, in the end, we'll still need network admins and network architects to run these network, because without network, none of the application can work, none of the cybersecurity will work. So network is the foundation for everything, right? So we'll always need network architects and network admins to make sure that connectivity and is there and lights are always on, and there's an issue, someone is there to troubleshoot, right? And in the end, you can see the CIS managers also there. So networking cybersecurity essentially is pretty safe, I would say, in a sense that carrier, that demand will always be there. We cannot say the demand is going away, right? The whole idea is that if you're investing your effort in this domain and you're learning and you're gaining knowledge, hopefully you will be rewarded well. And this is just a quick idea about the salary expectation. This is from the North American market perspective, by the way. But similar comparison can be done for the other markets. And this is if you have a network CompTIA or network plus security plus. Normally, typically you start from the close to 70,000 to 80,000 range salary. And then as you start growing in your career, you start building more expertise. You start from mid career to high end of your career, your salary grows pretty much, right? And if you look at CISSP, CCIs, in the end, CCI is the networking top-notch certification. CISSP is the security top-notch certification. If you have not only certified, but you also have experience in these domains, typically you can easily touch close to 150,000 to 180,000 or 200,000 even, right? So it all depends. I'm not saying that this is always the case, but these numbers give you an idea that it's a pretty lucrative area to invest your time and energies on, and it's pretty rewarding also, right? So definitely it's not that it's something which is going away very soon, right? So I hope it's okay so far. Any question or should we carry on? I'm not able to see all the screen. Ijaz Saab or Alim bhai, please let me know if there are any question. Otherwise, we'll continue.
I think we are good. You can continue.
Okay, sure. Thank you. So normally let's look into this, right? What actually is happening on this field, what we do, what we work on, right? So let's quickly go through that normally what activities we do. So when we talk about networking, as I said, important thing is that the most core important responsibility we have to maintain the connectivity, and we have to make sure that we build this resilient and secure and efficient networks. Network efficiency is very important. Sometime in the networking world, we'll see that you have a network, but network is not efficient, is not performing well, is having delays, latency, jitter, packet drop, so on and so forth. So network admins is role is not just to build the network, is to make sure that network is optimized, network is running well. It's similar to like home network, right? And the home network, when you have problems, your Wi-Fi is slow, you got worried, you got issues, right? You cannot access your application. It takes longer time to run the application. So based on that, similar thing happen on the corporations, right? Corporations run these networks, and corporation wants to make sure that user experience is not suffering. Network is always providing the premium quality connectivity in terms of whenever they're accessing application, there is no delays, because some application doesn't even work, right? If there is more delay, and this is happening more and more often, especially for the voice applications and video application. If you have more delay or jitter, the application just fails, right? So important thing is to build a reliable and efficient network. That's the most important job that networking people do. And how they do it, they actually design it, they deploy it, and they support it. More important work happen after designing and deployment is the support, which is ongoing. Like you design and deploy maybe in 2 months, 3 months, but after that you support that network for many years, right? So this is support team, which is the operations team, network operations team, NOC team. They are the most important role to play in supporting the network, make sure that network is efficient and providing the KPIs, key performance values that is agreed, and they are committing and making sure that these performances are never be compromised. That's more important. And how we go about it. So first pillar, if you look at it, right? So on this side, foundation, what we started, we normally in this first foundation pillar is that you have to build the network. You normally we build the network based on the standard networking protocols and the technologies. And normally we use a TCP/IP stack, which is very common, and everyone probably have some base knowledge of TCP/IP, because our every device that we use IP, our phones or laptops or servers, everyone has an IP address. So we build the network based on TCP/IP and LAN and WAN, and MAN means metropolitan area network, which is the campus network or maybe college network, university network, and the local area network, your office network, a wide area network with the long haul connectivities. So once we build the network based on these networking technologies, the second thing is to make sure that the new automations and new things, what is happening on the field is that the base knowledge that we have in the foundation and principle now is getting advanced, right? So means that we have automations, we have AI, we have, smart data centers coming into the picture. So networking people are gaining knowledge in these areas, and they are building network based on these advanced knowledge, which actually is, if you look at SaaS and IaaS, is a cloud-based services, which is very common. All the enterprises are running cloud-based services. So network admins have to make sure that they have the basic cloud networking knowledge. And SDN is a software defined networking, means that network is getting automated and there is a lot of software component coming into the networking that you want to automate a lot of things. We used to do a lot of things manually. Now the things within evolution, everything is getting automated. So we have a lot of API calls and REST APIs, and we have tools and systems. We just go and use those tools. But important thing is to have network admins to make sure that they understand what the outcomes they want to use these tools, right? So SDN is a software defined networking, is software based automation. But important thing is that network administrator have to have that type of knowledge, and this comes into the advanced networking concept where we have advanced data centers and SDN and cloud networking. Another area is of the networking is the core infrastructure. A lot of time you have the networking team which runs the core routers and switches, and even sometimes firewalls also is a security device, but sometimes it falls into the networking domains also. So mean that in in the large networks, in the large enterprises, large corporation, large public sector and government networks, the very complex network, you have thousands of switches, for sure, thousands of switches easily in every network, and you have hundreds of routers, and someone have to manage these switches and routers and configure them and make sure that they are performing well, there is no latency, there is no packet drops, and there are no issues. So a lot of times this networking team are focused on the core infrastructure, means that they are just doing routers and switch management on every single day, right? So this is one part. As I said, previous part, we talk about the automation team, networking automation team in the network automation, and some other teams may be doing the core infrastructure, make sure that cabling is good, routers are good, switches are good, firewalls are connected, and packets are able to flow from one point to another. Another domain, which is network security, is again sometime the boundary between network and security overlaps. This is one of those examples where network security, sometime networking team takes care of the security, at least the network security, which is VPN and firewall. Sometimes security team takes care of that. So this is kind of overlapping domain. That's the reason it's important that networking and security, I said, goes hand by hand always, right? So it's always good to have the both knowledge. So typically these are the activities networking teams are mostly involved with. They design, they build, they operate, right? That's the most important message. And when we talk about the potential area of specialization, right? So area of specialization and area of the growth that the networking teams can leverage. And in this case, let's look at some of the areas, right? So very first thing, if you look at it, I mentioned here, other than enterprise networking. Enterprise networking is the corporations and offices, and they are the one who are the one who want to make sure that the user always getting connectivity to applications, their payrolls, and whatever the corporate applications are allowed. And enterprise networking is your team, which is making sure that connectivity is always there. So this enterprise networking team is always there regardless which corporation you are in. Sometimes this enterprise networking falls into the IT team. Smaller companies just leverage their IT admins or system admins to do the networking also. But in the large corporation, large organization, this is not possible. You need a dedicated team only for the networking. And this is what happens. And this is where actually I spent most of my career, right? My career was only focused on mostly on networking for the most part of my career. And IT teams and system admins were different, right? So this is a very niche area. I would say that you need advanced networking knowledge. But apart from that, now industry is evolving, right? So now in last 10 years, cloud networking is another arena or another domain that has been evolved very aggressively. That cloud itself, cloud computing or cloud services are itself is a big domain, but out of the entire cloud, there's an area called cloud networking. And that's where you go and talk about how the connectivity will work in the cloud, how we have different servers, we have different networks and VNets and VPCs and all these things, how they will connect and how they will interact with outside world, how my end user will connect to my cloud, right? So cloud networking has become a specialized area. And given that in the world today, we have very commonly known AWS, Amazon Web Services, Azure, GCP, Alibaba, and Oracle Cloud, IBM Cloud, and so on, right? So there's so many cloud networks. So, and everyone is doing the things in their own way. So we need experts to connect our users to the cloud networks in an efficient way. Same thing, efficiency, and at the same time, security and making sure that performance is not impacted, right? So cloud networking is a big area. I talked in the previous slide, I talked about the DevOps, right? Means that the automation. The automation is happening a lot, software-defined networking. We are pushing a lot of APIs. We are pulling a lot of API calls, REST APIs, Ansible, Terraform, just to make sure that our infrastructure is deployed quickly and is set up quickly. So network DevOps is another field where the lot of automation is happening. So a lot of people with the Ansible and Python skills and Java skills, they are working in this domain to make sure that they can automate their network infrastructure deployment using these scripts and Python and Java language. SD-WAN and SASE, this is one of my actually area of expertise also, especially the SASE one, Secure Access Service Edge and Software-Defined Network WAN, Wide Area Networking. This is a very interesting area. This is strictly hard-coded core networking. That's where you try to build your network over the internet. The most important thing is that in the old days, people used to build their private networks, and they were very expensive actually. Building a private network is always very expensive. So what happened over the last 10 years, technology has evolved, and people start thinking that why not to just use internet as the base connectivity, and on top of internet, the challenge with internet comes if you just use the internet for the connectivity, connecting your corporate site or your office site, the issue comes with the security, right? Because internet by default, inherently, by definition, is insecure. Internet is just meant to connect the services. Security is not the promise of the internet. So someone has to work on the securing their digital assets and connectivity and so on. So this is what happened, that when we use internet as connectivity, but we secure the internet using these technologies, SD-WAN, software-defined networking, and secure access service edge. These are the technologies which secures our internet. So with these technologies, what happened that the benefit to enterprises is that they used to pay a lot of money to private connectivities, MPLS or lease lines or T1s and E1 connectivities, but they don't need it anymore. They just need the internet connectivity. On top of internet, they just build this software-defined wide area networking capabilities and the secure access service edge capabilities. And so it's a direct and immediate financial saving for the corporations, because let's say if an MPLS circuit is $1,000 and internet circuit is maybe $100, right? So they can save a lot of money with going with these technologies. So it's SD-WAN and SASE expertise is a good area of expertise. But definitely these all area that I'm going to show here, they comes once you have already entered into the domain, you start building on your foundation, and after that you start choosing a specialized area. Wireless and 5G is definitely is in a never-ending arena in my view. Wireless connectivity with 4G and now 5G and 6G is coming on the way. So all this connectivity is coming, and mobile networking definitely is going to make our life a way more different. We used to have old days where everything has to be cabled, everything have to be connected, everything have to have RJ45 cable and all that. But those days are going over very soon and very quickly. A lot of time wireless connectivity is giving us way more bandwidth, way more secure connectivity than in the past few years. So definitely 5G and wireless is a good area, and especially with the enterprise IoT, mean that enterprise connectivity and operational devices. A lot of time in the enterprises, we have devices, and we don't know how to connect these devices. These devices sometimes are legacy devices, sometimes are the very new devices, but at the same time, they only have the wireless connectivity. They don't have Ethernet port, right? So a lot of time, this wireless networking becomes a very critical. And in general, wireless networking is in my experience, I've seen in last 7 years at least, has evolved a big time. Corporations are spending a way more on wireless than they are on wired infrastructure, because a lot of time users just go and sit and work from anywhere in the office network. Even office network, they have a seat, they have a desk, they have a cable coming there, but a lot of time they just move around. They go into coffee shops. Sometimes they go and work from a meeting room or so on. So wireless connectivity is become very popular, and wireless is not only for the wireless LAN that we are saying. Sometimes wireless goes beyond the LAN, and you can work anywhere. You can have a mobile SIM, can have a data plan, and you can just work through that, right? And this is becoming more and more common in going in the future, right? AI network analysis is very new. I think it will evolve. I think with AI based operation means that new tools are coming into the picture, new applications are coming, vendor are building new applications in the networking domain that you can predict the network how it's going to behave based on the pattern of the traffic, based on the behavior of the switches and routers and the network traffic. AI tools can predict that this is going to happen, right? Based on the traffic flows and all that. They can tell you that, okay, go and fix or proactively, go and check this proactively. So AI based network analyst, I think it will be a domain which will be evolving, although I don't see it right now as many jobs. But I think in the next year or so, you will start seeing this kind of jobs popping up into the job listings. Data center architects again is the domain and the field which evolved around 15, 16 years ago and is growing ever since. A lot of enterprises actually, especially the large enterprises, banks, they want to keep the data in the cloud, but at the same time, there are a lot of sensitive data which our organization are reluctant to put into the public cloud or Amazon and Google and GCPs. So what they do is that actually they keep this data within their private network or private data centers. Private data center is just your local cloud. Private cloud means that you're keeping everything local to your office network, and you have to build your private data center. So there's a lot of job opportunities there, especially as of now. I'm seeing a lot of companies having mix public cloud and private cloud. Means some data is in the public, some in the private, and this trend will continue in my view. So data center architect will remain a job, I think, in next few years at least, before the technology take another spin and maybe everything moves to cloud and so on. With that, I'll take a pause. I think there's a hands up. I'm not sure whose hands is up. Noman, I think.
Yes, Mr. Noman, there is the hand.
Yes. No, Harith bhai, if you complete, I will ask the question at the very end, right? I don't want to, um, I mean,
No worries, sir.
divert the presentation. First you complete, and then I will ask the question.
Also,
Okay,
we
no
have
worries.
2 questions in the chat box, maybe in the end. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I will ask. It's an interactive question, right? So,
Yeah. So these are the potential areas in the networking, right? And enterprise networking in the top is something which will remain always be there. This is, I would say, foundation for every company to have the networking to be done. On top of that, these are the specialization areas, right? So these areas definitely, but these areas you can go into those domains once you have the base foundation, you have worked on the basic networks, and then you can choose that, okay, I got an opportunity to work in cloud networking and I have an opportunity to go towards maybe the DevOps or SD-WAN and SASE, right? So these areas definitely will come later on. But important thing is to make sure that when you go into your domain of expertise, when you are trying to pick a domain of expertise, these are the potential arenas, and there are many more actually. They are the common ones I pick. I'm not saying that these are the only ones. There are for sure many more. Now, from the career path perspective, the way it starts typically for the networking, you doesn't have to have a bachelor's in computer science or computer engineering or computers or anything, I would say. Even now in my days and our days when we were doing the engineering from NED, and even those days, there was not many options. There was a computer system and there was electrical engineering, right? So I was in electrical. Even computer system didn't have much of the networking. It's mostly about the computer system architectures and so on, right? So you can see that even those networking fields and jobs were there, but the academia was not picking up that quickly to build the courses around that. So in order to enter the networking area, you don't have to have a bachelor's in IT or bachelor's in computer networking or computers, anything. You can just start even with your high school, right? In my view, because information is available. Although I always recommend to have the bachelor's and make sure that you continue your academic path in parallel to your professional path. A lot of time these days, a lot of kids are start talking about dropping out to schools and start doing all of these things. I don't recommend that. In my view, continue with your bachelor's, and at the same time, you can do bachelor's in any field. You don't have to be doing in computer science in order to enter networking and cybersecurity. But always, if you are computer science or if you are computer engineering, that helps you. That builds your foundation. It makes it easy for you. But that's not the necessary that you have to have that kind of degrees in order to enter networking and cybersecurity. So normally what happened in the initial level, when you enter into the networking, you build your foundation, and you type of jobs that you get into is IT help desk, IT support, desktop support, NOC technician, NOC analyst, networking support. That's how you normally start. And after that, once you work in these foundational jobs, you start build some base knowledge. You started having some intermediate level knowledge. Then you start going towards more kind of advanced level knowledge where you become a network engineer or network designer, and you start working towards some specialized technologies, maybe voice over IP technologies and advanced BGP routing and so on, right? And then similarly, gradually, when you start working for many years in certain area, you automatically become expert in that area. Let's say you become routing and switching expert, right? You become, say, network security expert. You become load balancer expert. Maybe you become wireless expert. You become DevOps expert. So these areas, they automatically you start seeing that your enterprise or your corporation need expertise, and you start taking certifications and you study and start practicing those things. So you automatically evolve into the area that your organization wants you to become expert in, right? It all happens gradually, but at the same time, in my view, you should keep a focus and look at your interests and see which area interests you more and definitely go in that. For me, when I was working 30 years ago, I started, and 25 years ago, I started picking up routing and switching as my area of expertise. I did my CCI in that area. So that becomes my core skill, and later on I start building more skills and so on. So it all depends, right? And later on, you goes into more into leadership roles. When you start become enterprise architect, network architect, you becomes more evolved into senior manager, director of IT, and eventually CTO, CIO kind of roles, right? So this is a typical progression, right? So it normally start from day zero until next 10, 20 years. This could happen, right? And this has normally happened in last many years, and I would say I don't see a reason why it will stop. It will probably continue for a while, the similar career progression. Important thing is to start with some foundation, and then growing into that area even more. And this quick diagram, I made it through Gemini, and this is just a quick overview that you start with foundation, right? And once you start with foundation, you start going to the professional side of it, a little bit more expertise. And after professional, you pick an area of expertise, right? It actually depends on your organization needs. Sometimes some people go to the wireless side, some people go to voice over IP side, some go to network side. So it all depends, right? And eventually you land towards a leadership role. So you can see that foundation to professional to specialist to leadership. That's how the typically network path and network progression happens, right? So it's just an idea. I mean, I'm not saying that you always have to take this step by step path. You can always go from foundations to specialist. Maybe if you have a lot of interest and you find opportunity that a company is working in voice over IP and they need a voice over IP expert, and you have foundation knowledge, you can go into there, right? It's not that you always have to follow this path. And this is the beauty of this career path of networking and cybersecurity. If you start getting an opportunity in an area, you go and start reading and building and exercising and practicing labs and so on, and you become expert. You don't need to go through that. You have to have certain credentials to move to step two, right? Now going to cybersecurity, right? Normally what happens in cybersecurity field, in cybersecurity, as we discussed earlier, right, is about protecting your digital assets, right? So important thing is that networking is about building resilient networks and connectivity. Cybersecurity is about building resilient and secure defense. Efficient defense means that you have the knowledge and skills to protect from the adversaries which is happening in your network and within your assets and systems and your digital footprints in your organization, right? And typically, a lot of things really happen in cybersecurity, and it's even a lot more field in cybersecurity than in networking, in my view, because cybersecurity it's growing way faster than any other field from the industry perspective. Because with automation, with AI, what is happening that AI is coming to the benefit the end user and corporation at the same time, it's also benefiting the bad actors, right? The hackers and bad people who wants to start using these tools more actively, more smartly, and they want to attack the people. They want to steal their data. They want to do ransomware and all that. So it becomes very easy with AI. People used to take months to plan something and then attack an organization. Now it takes days, right, with the new tools. So definitely cybersecurity is growing a lot because
the more the attacks and these threats and this attack surface is increasing and hackers are working more and more, definitely we need more analysts to protect it, right? So you need a defense. So cybersecurity is all about defending our digital assets. So normally what happens that we do continuous monitoring, and in cybersecurity, which is a SOC team, we do compliance. A lot of time is all about cybersecurity. Have a big field call it the governance and compliance, right? That is where a lot of time the administrator and auditors work, make sure that we are following some cybersecurity framework, make sure that our organization network is set up based on those framework, maybe it's a NIST, maybe it's an ISO, maybe it's some other framework, whatever the framework our organization agrees to, we build our network based on that framework. We have policies, procedures, we constantly do the risk assessment, risk management, how to make sure that information is confidential and information is integrity is retained. So a lot of things happen on the governance side of cybersecurity, and which is a very good field in my view, risk assessment, governance, and policy and procedure. Because in the end, when we look at cybersecurity, it's not about the tools, as I said, right? People, process, and technology is the combination of people, process, and technologies. So with only with the technology, you cannot secure it. End of the day, it's important to have the right policies and procedures and standards and make sure that a corporation is following those standards and risks are identified and have been mitigated in advance, right? Second thing is the application and cloud security, right? So this everything is as I said, end of the day, when we as an end user only cares about the application they are using, right? I mean, although network make that application reachability smooth and facilitated, but end of the day, from end user perspective, important thing is the application. An application could be sitting in your cloud or your data center or wherever. So important thing is to make sure that application is secure and your infrastructure is secure. So this is the second thing which security administrator do commonly, that they make sure that the application security, your infrastructure security, your containers, your cloud workloads, your infrastructure as service VMs, everything is secure, right? And network infrastructure security, this is a domain which kind of overlaps with network team and security team. And sometimes I've seen in my life a lot of fights between network team and security team, because historically, traditionally, large organization have separate network team and separate security team, and there were clear boundaries between them. But now with automations and all those things happening, the boundary is getting little blurred. And right now we are in a transition where network and NOC and SOC team, network operation and security operation team, sometimes have debates and they have fights on the domain. This is my domain, this is not your domain, and this is my. So this is interesting. But end of the day, network security, network infrastructure security is very important, where we look into the firewalls, we into the IPS, IDS devices, we into the secure gateways to make sure that VPNs are secure, zero trust architecture, and so on and so forth. So this is another networking domain. And last but not the least, and this is the most, I would say, the jobs are happening in this area, which is the SOC area, Security Operations Center, where we have the incident response, threat detection, incident response, and recovery, right? So this is where the team is sitting in 24-hour. They are monitoring the alerts coming from into their pane of glass and to their screens, and they are seeing those alerts, investigating that. Is it a false positive? Is it a true positive? Whatever it is, right? And they are fixing the problem, fixing the issues. They are always making sure that their defense is very strict, in a sense that investigation is happening constantly. And with AI, this is happening more and more challenging in a way, because there used to be a time where attackers take some time to plant something and then initiate their attack. With AI making the bots, thousands of bots is very easy. Now AI is making the scripting very easy. AI is making the malware projection and malware propagation very easy. So definitely the SOC job is becoming in more and more challenging, right? But that's where I think career opportunity lies, right? If you are expert, you know how to mitigate, how to identify, how to fix the problem, then you definitely have a job here. And it's a very dynamic job in my view. It's not a boring job at all. Every day you see new attacks, you investigate, you look into that, you do the recoveries. So this area, incident response and recovery, that's where the real action is happening from a cybersecurity perspective, because some of the fields are not the front end. This is the true front end job. That's the governance and compliance and risk management is kind of a back end job. You don't face the front user. You just make sure that things are working in the back end. But the incident response, recovery, security operations center, that's where all the action happens, right? So in terms of the job opportunities or career opportunities in the cybersecurity domain, right? So Security Operations Center, as I said, right, this is the most prominent job opportunity, and this is where the SOC analyst happens, and this is where the SOC is monitoring 24/7 threats, detection, investigation, triage, alerting. This is all 24/7, and you cannot let any alert go unchecked. And that's where a lot of tools, team look into a lot of tools and application, and they make sure that they get the information from the tool, but tools will give you the information, and end of the day, decision making happens a lot of time from the SOC analyst that is it the true positive or not. All the tools are changing. Tools are making a lot more smarter now than before. So definitely is improving. But at the same time, a security operation, in my view, is the most common domain that you can find the job into the security domain. And these SOC team normally are called the blue teams, mean that they are the defenders, right? They are defending their network. There's another team, they call it red team. They are the kind of attackers. And this is kind of, you can say that that's where the penetration testing happens, right? So this is where the organization actually invite some penetration testing company to come and test their network and just to check there if there are any vulnerabilities, if there are any gaps in their cyber posture and so on. So this is where kind of we call it ethical hackers come into the picture, right? The ethical hackers or the red team are the one who are attackers who attack your network based on the consent, right? Because normally when you say red team or penetration testing or ethical hackers, they do with the consent of the organization, means that organization allow them to attack it. The difference between the red team and the or the any attackers outside is that attacker comes and try to hack your information, to misuse the information to for the ransomware or for any other reasons. But red team and penetration team, normally they identify the gaps and they will let you know the gaps so you can fill the gap before any attacker comes. Normally, red teaming is a very common exercise organization. Now I'm seeing very commonly that they are very regularly running this, especially large organization. They're running every 6 months or 3 months or a year, this penetration testing just to make sure that before any attacker gain their access to their assets, red team or ethical hackers check that and identify them so they can fix it before it goes into the hands of the attackers, right? GRC, governance, risk and compliance, is a framework and is mainly a risk assessment and auditing framework. It's a regulatory compliant. A lot of large organizations have to make sure that they're compliant to the regulations, whatever the country they are in Europe, GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation, and ISO standard and NIST framework. So this is where the risk compliance and auditing and regulatory comes, and a lot of organizations have to abide by. If have to do the business, they have to make sure that they have to abide by these principles. So these regulatory compliances create a lot of jobs, right? So they need a lot of people to make sure that they come do the audits of your networks, they find the gaps, to do the risk assessment and make sure that they do these audits on a regular basis. So this GRC is another domain which is very commonly people are making their careers in. Network security, we discussed, this is a blurry area where network team and security team fight a lot. Sometimes network team says their area and security team says their area, but it's mainly about the configuring and controlling the firewalls and zero trust and VPNs and your IPS and IDS services. Traditionally, historically, it used to be kind of depending on the organization. Some large organizations have separate network and security team, so it was falling into the security team domain. But in the smaller organization, normally it's the same team, is network/security, so they were managing it collectively together. Application security is important. I think this is where the web application firewalls and some other application security tools come, especially from the DevOps CI/CD pipeline perspective. It is important to make sure that during the development phase, security is being considered, right? And that's where I think the DevOps security team and DevSecOps is evolving as a new area of the career path. Cloud security, cloud is a public cloud, as I said, public cloud or private cloud, regardless, cloud is where that's more almost every single organization in this world, at least I would say mid-sized to large corporation, everyone has some footprints in the cloud. So security of the cloud is extremely critical, extremely important, and this is an area which is definitely have a lot of potential for sure for the next many years. Identity and access management is very niche area, not very common area. There are not many experts. And the reason is that not everyone get an opportunity to work in this domain. But in my view, it's a very lucrative area. It's very niche area. And they call it identity is your new parameter, because in old days, we used to have firewall on a perimeter network and we think that that's the security. But now users are everywhere. They're accessing the services from home. They're accessing services from work. They do it from coffee shop and everywhere, right? So uh, identity is the one which give a lot of control on how user can access the application. So IAM, identity and access management. If someone gets an opportunity to work in this domain, it's a very interesting area, but also very challenging. It's a very good area in my view, but not many gets an opportunity to work in this domain. Data forensic is like a normal forensic, right? In forensic, normally someone goes and investigate and find the findings and do the scientific forensic. Similarly, data forensic, right? So if some incident happen and some breach happen and something bad happen in your network, you need someone to go and investigate why it happened, how it happened, what did we wrong, like where things went wrong, right? So this is where the forensic team. Normally, the forensic team are similar to, I would say, that red team or purple team, in a sense that they are the one who try to go and try to hunt what exactly happened. They try to do the reverse engineering, right, to identify how the breach happened. So in the next time they can to try to make sure that doesn't happen again. Now, cybersecurity career path perspective, as I said, you always start with foundation, right? So you start with maybe sometime IT help desk, you can start sometimes SOC analyst, sometimes cyber support, junior auditor. It could be anything with the foundational knowledge, right? And after that, once you have that foundational knowledge, you go to you become like a more expert in your domain. You become like incident sponsor or GRC analyst or maybe security engineer or later on you becomes even more expert. You start becoming expert in certain domains, maybe network domains or cloud domains or red team or blue team or digital forensic or maybe a threat hunter, right? So these are the expertise areas, especially I would say the red team, penetration testing, digital forensic. They're very niche for sure. You need a lot of expertise in that area. And there are a lot of demand for that for sure, right? Because a lot of hackers are doing bad things. So we need ethical hackers to make sure that we can stop those bad actors from doing their actions. And eventually you lean into the leadership role. You become CIO, director, enterprise architect, product specialist, and product managers, and so on. And this is a similar career path I generated from the Gemini, and the same thing, right? You start with foundation, and then you typically start building a little bit more expertise, and then you become subject matter expert or specialist in certain domain, and eventually in your career you become into leadership role. And it all depends, right, in what happened in organizations, especially in North America. I know that Middle East and Pakistan and India are different, but in North America, you have a career choice. You can continue throughout your career. You can stay technical. You can be an subject matter expert and until your retirement or 60, 65 years or whatever, right? People choose that. A lot of time I work with a lot of expert people who've been working in their domains and technical expertise for many years. But in Pakistan and Middle East, the culture is that you don't spend too many years in hardcore technology. Eventually, you are forced to lean towards the leadership role, right? You become manager, senior manager, director, and more you become into management. That's another important role. Management role is always important, but when you go more into management, what happened that you know the technology, but you are taking the technology decisions, right? So you become a decision makers, but you are not hands-on. You are not doing hardcore configuration and all that. But that's fine. I think that's is career choice. So if someone wants to go to leadership role or senior management role, they can go. In North America, typically this is the choice one makes, right? But in Pakistan, India, and Middle East, with my experience, is that you really don't have a choice. If you have spent certain number of years, they will make you manager, senior manager, director, and eventually you become more of a decision makers, which is, I think, is not bad, is good. That's how the career progression happens in those areas. So this is a quick overview of the career path and the expertise area that falls into the cybersecurity domains. Okay, now I think important thing is that we all talk about all this fancy stuff. This all looks very attractive and lucrative and all that, but the point is that how do we start, right? What should I do to start it? So important thing to start, and every journey start with the step one, right? The important thing is that uh, gain the knowledge and become an expert. That's the, I think, bottom line is that becoming an expert, you have to start studying, you start reading. But the way I see the industry right now going is that there are a lot of tools, knowledge, and there are a lot of courses available everywhere in the world, a lot of online courses, but don't spend money unnecessarily, in my view. Keep because a lot of good material is available for free also, right? So first you leverage and utilize those free materials. And after that, once you have gained certain level of expertise, then go for paid material, right? So just to start with, I have given a link here, hyperlink. This presentation will be shared later on, but this is a hyperlink here. I have built a course on the foundation of the networking and cybersecurity. You can go and look into that. This course actually can give you some idea about how to start it, how to do base working, what is the base core concepts, and so on and so forth. So you can look into. Okay, one second. Okay, so this is one thing. So I have networking course, cybersecurity course. You can probably look at a first step at it, and from there you can start. But this is just a foundation course. End of the day, after this courses, you can see that where is my interest, right? Maybe I am interested in one networking area, or maybe cybersecurity area, or maybe in both, right? Regardless, but important thing is to see where your interest lies more, and then you can start spending more energy in that particular area. And don't rush into that. Definitely, nothing happens overnight. You need to spend some time. I would say give yourself 6 months to a year time to build solid skills and to be ready to do good in this field, right?
Sorry to
And
interrupt you, Charis. We have 10 minutes left for the question and answer session. Yes,
should
Lakshmi.
I? Okay, I'll just go quick. I think I'll share the slide later on so team can look into that. So what I have done is that I have compiled these resources. They are all are the most of them are free resources. And important thing, what I'm trying to highlight here is that you have to go to step one is the build the foundation. Step two is the some enhance your knowledge, right, with some advanced knowledge. So this is the two step we do it. And after that, the third thing, which is very important, is the hands-on lab. This today's important issue is that people are studying, but they are not getting hands-on. Industry need people with the hands-on and the configuration, and they should know the practical. So this is the practical labs that should practice. This will give you the enough knowledge to start in this domain, right? So go through these links. These links are mostly are free. And after that, once you are done with the base knowledge, foundation knowledge, you have done your labs and you have done your hands-on. Now it's a time to accredit your knowledge with the certification. So there are some free certifications. I would say go with them wherever available. Some are paid. I've highlighted them. There are others also, but these certifications I can give you are industry recognized, mean that they're respected in the industry. Once you do that, people will accept you as an expert in that area. And on top of that, there's some additional free courses, tools available. Look at this deck, and this has all the links available. And importantly, I think this is, I would just like to touch base that going forward in the next 10 years, I would say that these skills are foundation: AI tools, Python, Java, DevOps. I know that a lot of people are saying that AI is coming, it will take the developer job, but things don't go away easily and simply. You have to have the base knowledge of this, in my view, Python and shell scripting and cloud. These are the very important technical skills, regardless you are cyber or networking, these skills will help you. On the right hand side, you will see the soft skills, right? So this is analytical skills, your communication skills, your collaboration skills, your analytical mindset, and these all skills also help you. So don't work only on technical skills, try to build some of your soft skills also. And this is just, I think probably the last slide is just to give you an idea about that when you start the career in the networking domain, you can start with, CCNA, network specialist, CCNP, and eventually you grow into your leadership roles, right? And similar thing happens on the cybersecurity side. You start with some basics, CompTIA Security Plus, and then you start working into your path towards your CISSP, which is eventually lead you to subject matter experts and the leadership roles, right? So this is, I can share this slide. You can, guys can have a look, and you can drop an email to the group, and we can always connect together. I think because of the shortage of the time, I will take a pause here. I think this is the last slide. I really apologize. We, I think, couldn't make use of first 20 minutes, and that's why we have to skip these career path journey. But I think important thing is that mostly are hyperlinks. You can go and look into that. And my email is there. Always feel free to reach me on my LinkedIn or my email address, right? So I think we can open the forum for questions now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harris, for such an informative and insightful presentation. We will now move to the question answer session. Participants are welcome to ask questions, and I can see the raised hand by our respectable Javed Bhai. He wants to ask question. Javed Bhai.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I think Noman was earlier than me. So what if you can take his question and then I have a question and a suggestion. But before I leave, thanks, Haris. You did a good job. वो कहते हैं देर आए दुरुस्त आए आपकी ताखीर का कोई ऐसा मसला नहीं रहा but you did great, very informative, very useful for the newcomers as well as people who wanted to enhance. So I think Ijaz, you can take first Noman and then you can take
No,
me.
Javed bhai, you
Javed
should
bhai,
go
you can
first,
go
right?
ahead.
It's okay. I think I already asked
Okay,
the
Noman,
question on the
thank you.
chat.
Yes, Haris and Dr. Aleem, my question is, look, AI is on the top these days. What impacts do you expect in future on cybersecurity as well as on IT networking? This is a question. And then a suggestion is, there are a lot of people who come here as new immigrants and look for job, especially I've seen Indians struggling for a year or two. Can you suggest some quick courses for them on cybersecurity and their placements? But could you also provide the list of companies who are in this business and the job postings on a frequent basis on NEDAC website? So I have one question and one suggestion.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
No problem. Thanks
thank
you
you,
very much.
thank you.
Yeah, actually, just to quickly start with your first part, right? First part of your question is AI. Definitely, AI is inevitable. I would say that there's every walk of life will be impacted by AI. There's no escape to that for sure. Now, what I am seeing in my industry, but I'm working on networking and mostly on cybersecurity now, I'm definitely seeing that our vendors and our partners and supply chain partners, they are constantly working on leveraging the AI and building AI capabilities into their tools, right? This is happening, and this is excuse me, this is the way it is, right? So means that more and more tools will come with AI native capabilities. They will predict the network behaviors, they will predict the cyber attacks. So whatever the things that a lot of things we are doing manually today, it will happen automated through the tools. So this is the way it's happening. Important thing for the newcomers to make sure that understand the basis of the AI, how the what are the tools available to you in your particular environment. What, because a lot of tools are freely available, right? So you have to make sure that you can understand how to use those tools. You have to have the understanding how to write the prompts for those tools to make sure that you get the right outcomes, right? The important thing in all the fields, regardless network security or any other field, to using the tools to get your desired outcomes. And desired outcomes comes when you write the prompt correctly, right? Because otherwise it's an effort wasted, right? So in my view, make sure that you are familiar with the tools, you know the basis of the AI, you understand the at least the high level core functionality of the how the LLMs are and interact with each other and so on, just on a high level. I say from end user perspective, you have to be more concerned about the prompt engineering and how to write your prompts. That's one thing. Now, second thing, definitely, this slide deck has a lot of information in terms of how to start, what certification to do, what courses to do. It has, I think, the second part, which kind of, unfortunately, we have to run through that, skim through it quickly. But that part has all the required links to start your career path without investing too much money. And certifications required, courses required, lab practices required, that all is there. Now, third thing is about the you asked about the newcomers, right? So newcomer part, I would suggest few things. Definitely, NEDAC forum that we have and NEDAC group we have, we are trying to assist the newcomers as much as we can. But at the same time, there are a few other opportunities actually for newcomer in Toronto, especially. There is an association called TRIEC and TRIEC. This is an organization which is actually I'm kind of volunteer in that organization as a mentor. So what this organization does is it helps newcomers to settle down into their careers, right? So they try to make the association of newcomers with a mentor. So they give you a mentor. Let's say if you're in IT, they give you a mentor of the IT to help you look at the domains and area that you can polish your skill. Because coming to Canada from another country definitely need time to polish your skills, to understand the cultures and get going, right? So trike is one option. On top of that, Jaisa, the issue is that 20, 25 years ago, there used to be a time where there was used to be a recruiter list, right? There used to be a recruiter list or organization list. People used to send resumes there, but that has changed now. Now, I don't see much of the recruiter list that we can give it to newcomers or organization list we can give it to newcomers. Most of the job posting are happening um, through the LinkedIn and through some other tools, Indeed.com and so on and so forth. So I think that whoever is coming, he has to familiar with these tools, how to use the Indeed, how to use the LinkedIn, and also if end of the day, I think all the jobs. Most important thing in finding a job is to have your social contact, and that's where the NEDAC and other organization come, and we try to make sure that whenever we have an opportunity, we can share within our forums, right? This is my take on this question.
Yes, thank you, Haris. Just if possible, we can, you can post some jobs, the recent jobs, anywhere on any group or possibly on NEDAC website that might help the job seekers to land into a proper place. So whatever you could do on that.
Sure, sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Okay.
Always.
Thank you, Javed Bhai. And now I will request Mr. Noman. Please, thanks for your patience. You can ask question.
No, thank you so much, Ijaz bhai and Aleem and Awais bhai, for organizing this session. And thank you, Haris bhai, for giving us that much of detailed webinar, right? And this amazing. My question is simple, like a specific. I think you have covered all the point, how to start from the scratch and how to survive and struggles in this economy. My question is specific to because now we are moving from traditional networking to cloud-based and AI-based networking, right? What do you suggest? People is going to catch up, with the evolution of technology and the rapid changes in the industry, or we should go with the because I know there is a lot of I mean movement from Cisco towards this cloud-based networking. People are not going into CCI anymore. So I just want to understand, even if they have to start, what they have to do, they have to go through the cloud networking, or they have to start from the traditional networking.
Well, the thing is that you cannot go to networking directly, right? The cloud networking, you cannot go. You have to start with the foundation, right? Because no matter where you go, the TCP/IP concept, OSI models, they all stay the same, right? So you always have to start with the traditional networking. In my view, is give you the real sense of the how the networks work. In my view, jumping directly into the cloud networking might be challenging. In my view, so my take on this is you should start with the foundation with the traditional networking and try to find a job in an organization, and after that you will automatically be slipped into the cloud networking and other domains because that's every organization is using the cloud, right? Because if you start from day one start focusing on the cloud networking, then normally organization when they hire they want to see the foundation where you worked before, right? I have not seen anyone giving a job directly to the cloud networking domain without having prior networking experience, right? And second thing, Noman, I see your question. I think identity and access management, right? IAM is unfortunately right now. IAM is very much vendor specific, is very much technology specific. You have mentioned it correctly. Is SailPoint or CyberArk or Entra ID? These are the tools used, and that's the reason it's hard to gain that knowledge because it's so much vendor specific that organization is using that only then you can get the knowledge, right? You cannot spend thousands of dollars buying a tool, right?
No, thank you so much, Haris bhai. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And love to hear you from more, like, maybe you keep coming up in this webinar and give us more information. But thank you so much, like, for all the information that you have given today.
No,
Appreciate
in
it.
my view,
Uh,
if team has any interest, if you guys wants to have any specific topics and anything you in the world, you can write to us, right, as a NEDAC forum, and we
yeah,
can find the expert for those areas. If I'm not the expert,
no,
I can get the expert because my friends are working in top-notch Silicon Valleys and all that, right? So definitely, if there's
Haris
an
bhai, I'm
interest from
also
anyone,
double
yeah.
CCI. I'm also double CCI, routing and switching and
Oh,
data.
wonderful. Good
But
to know.
but I moved from that area. But
Okay.
to be honest, like, you refresh all the memories, and especially for the youth people, like, who wants to enter in this world, like, you have given all the foundation knowledge, and I think you are one of the very good mentor. Like, I'm going to find some of the youths, like, maybe going to bring them in this session more, like, so you can guide them, like, how to, like, how to penetrate in this area as well. But really appreciate.
No worries, no worries. I think we can do the session again later in the year, right? No worries
Yeah.
if there's interest.
I think we have
Haris
to
bhai,
set
we
up
have
for youth as well, right? Especially for
Yeah.
youth, our
Yeah.
children's, like, they are very, very much distracted, like, where to go, what to choose, where to start, right? So I think this information is going to really help them, right? And thank you for all of you, right, setting up this session.
Thank you. No worries.
yes, we have one question from among the participants, and the name shows your office. Yeah, you can ask the question. Oh,
Assalamualaikum,
oh,
sorry,
Awesome.
मैं थोड़ा late है तो
Zubair bhai, how are you?
thank you, Haris sir. Thank you. It's a lovely year. Zabardast is a good webinar today. It's excellent and informative sessions. Your guidance and cybersecurity career pathway, certification, and industry opportunity was highly valuable and inspiring for all our participants. I think, Haris, you can discuss about the trike.ca, right?
Right.
Is a
We can
website.
discuss.
So can you link up for the NEDAC and
Yes.
something is, and how is the newcomers come? So how I can directly approach for trike?
Yeah,
So what the
I think in
procedure? Yeah,
this slide deck, I can put in the end in
yeah.
the track link. Actually, this
Uh,
is an like an NGO type of organization, right? So they
okay,
just
okay,
try to help.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good for us, and
Yes.
because so not a lot of the new peoples, because people
Yeah.
are trying the career job, or someone come to the cybersecurity side or the this side, so we start for the beginner and then go through. And can you go to the some physical webinar for the one side for the youngsters? So it is good for us if you have the time or something. Or Ms. Alim bhai, can you manage something? So we go to the physical one-on-one sessions or something like that.
Absolutely. I
Okay,
think
okay.
I think Lima, we can
Uh,
discuss separately.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing I would like to add, I was thinking to do some panel discussion on
Mm-hmm.
this area. So
Mm-hmm.
myself and Haris and few more expert can
Mm-hmm.
join them and we can have a good session.
Okay, okay, that's good. Thank you, Haris.
And
It's a
the
nice.
team here, I think,
thank you,
don't
Zubair bhai.
hesitate. If you have any question, please ask in Urdu also. Don't worry about the English. If just feel free, right? Languages should not be a barrier.
Yes.
तो
There
आपको
are
उर्दू
two
में पूछें
questions
सवाल
in
का
the
मसला नहीं
chat
है.
box, Haris bhai. Can I read them?
Yeah,
The
go ahead.
one
Yeah.
is, what transferable skills from other industries are most valuable in cybersecurity?
In my view, when you're coming to cybersecurity or networking domain, as such, you don't need any special background. You can start, you have to spend cycles on studying all that. But I think there are a few skills which are available in every field, right? You have to have good work ethics, right? And you have to have, make sure that you can spend, you focus on that, right? And I think common sense is a very important skill. I would say this is very less common these days, unfortunately. If you have a common sense, you have the basic logic, and you just have to have spent cycles in my view, and you can join cybersecurity and networking, especially networking domain. I've seen so many people have joined without any prior knowledge. So I don't see any challenge for anyone else. The only thing is that you have to be ready to spend time and energies and spend some hours every day. Just keep it there, and inshallah, you will be able to make a career in these domains.
Yeah. Mr. Usman Ali is asking question. Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much, Haris bhai, and the team for organizing this webinar. It was very useful, knowledgeable, A bit of a background. I'm a recent immigrant. I landed here last year, and fortunately found something um, in the cloud and system administration domain. So my background is from cloud, and fortunately जिस कंपनी के लिए मैं काम कर रहा हूँ वहाँ पे एक recent cyber security framework की implementation होनी थी. वो project उन्होंने मुझे lead करने के लिए दे दिया. So I ended up in cyber security. और my question to you would be के to excel in cyber security, what certifications should someone pursue? I have some of the cloud certifications. मेरे पास Azure की एक foundational certification है, AWS की 2 certifications है, networking का अच्छा experience और background है, working with firewall switches, routers. तो अब क्योंकि अब cyber security का exposure मिलना शुरू हो गया है, तो I want to have some professional certifications in that domain. तो उस पे अगर आप थोड़ा सा गाइड कर सकें.
देखें साइबर सिक्योरिटी या नेटवर्किंग में देखें जो दो तरह की सर्टिफिकेशन होती हैं. देयर वन इज द वेंडर न्यूट्रल, राइट, मोर न्यूट्रल बेस, एंड वन इज द वेंडर स्पेसिफिक. बोथ हैव देयर प्रोज एंड कॉन्स. आई मीन इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग ये होती है कि मेरी सजेशन ये होती है कि आप जिस फील्ड में काम कर रहे हैं ना, परसू दो सर्टिफिकेशन. अगर आप फ्रेमवर्क्स पे काम कर रहे हैं, गवर्नेंस एंड रिस्क एंड कंप्लायंस एंड रिस्क मैनेजमेंट पे काम कर रहे हैं, तो उसके सर्टिफिकेशन करें. लेकिन अगर आप नेटवर्क सिक्योरिटी की तरफ ज़्यादा हैं और उस एरिया की तरफ ज़्यादा है तो उसकी सर्टिफिकेशन करें. और बिकॉज वो ईजियर टू, बिकॉज कॉन्सेप्ट तो सेम होते हैं लेकिन इम्प्लीमेंटेशन अलग होती है, राइट. इफ यू आर वर्किंग इन अजोर हैव सर्टेन इम्प्लीमेंटेशन कंपेयर टू AWS, ऑल्दो दे हैव सिमिलरिटीज फॉर श्योर, कॉन्सेप्ट इज द सेम. सो मेरी सजेशन ये होती है हमेशा, एंड दिस इज व्हाट आई डू एक्चुअली, कि मैं जिस टेक्नोलॉजी पे जिस प्लेटफॉर्म पे काम करता हूँ उसके सर्टिफिकेशन कर लेता हूँ. तो उससे मुझे आइडिया ये होता है कि एक तो थोड़ी इन डेप्थ नॉलेज मिल जाती है, और प्लस ये होता है कि मैं ऑलरेडी काम कर रहा होता हूँ तो मेरे लिए ईजी भी होता है करना. फिर आखिर में ये होता है कि फिर वो कॉन्सेप्ट आपके बिल्ड हो जाते हैं, तो फिर आप कोई दूसरी टेक्नोलॉजी भी जाते हैं तो वो ऑल द वेंडर्स डूइंग द सेम थिंग एंड ऑफ द डे, राइट. दे आर जस्ट, इट्स अ डिफरेंट वे ऑफ इम्प्लीमेंटेशन. अगर आप एक भी कर लेते हो तो इट हेल्प्स यू. सो इफ़ यू आर वर्किंग ऑन सर्टेन टेक्नोलॉजी एंड लुक अराउंड दैट, उसमें क्या सर्टिफिकेशन अवेलेबल है वो कर लें. वेंडर न्यूट्रल टेक्नोलॉजीज पे आप जाते हैं, जैसे IC स्क्वायर देता है आपको सर्टिफाइड इन साइबर सिक्योरिटी, CCSP, SSP एंड ऑल दैट. वो अच्छी हैं लेकिन वो इंडस्ट्री में भी रिकग्नाइज हैं, लेकिन वो जनरल आपको आइडिया देती हैं. लेकिन अगर आप किसी एक टेक्नोलॉजी में एक्सपर्टीज गेन करना चाह रहे हो, जैसे मैं पालो अल्टो पे आजकल बहुत काम करता हूँ, तो मेरी पालो अल्टो की बहुत सारी सर्टिफिकेशन है, इसलिए कि मेरे लिए आसान है, मैं उसमें काम ऑलरेडी कर रहा हूँ, मैं ऑलरेडी सिस्टम्स का एक्सेस है मेरे पास, एंड इट्स ईजियर फॉर मी टू गेन नॉलेज एंड पास, राइट. सो दिस इज द कॉन्सेप्ट आई ट्राई टू से. See what you have available, try to pursue in that area. If you have no background, then go for general certification from CISSP or CSP or CC or whatever, right?
Yes, sir. We have
Thank you so
question
much.
from Mr. Alam. Yes, Mr. Alam, you can ask question. Unmute your mic. I think your mic is muted.
Yes. Can
Can you
admin do the unmute?
Narsab, can you unmute Mr. Alam's mic?
No, it looked like I cannot do it. There is no option I found.
Oh, he can do himself?
Yes.
Okay, so if you can hear Mr. Alam, you can ask question. I don't know. There's one question in the chat box. If cloud provider security is compromised, do you think it will have an impact on cloud users?
Definitely. It all depends, right? What is compromised? It all depends. Sometimes end user might not see the impact, and sometimes they will see the impact, right? It depends what is compromised. But normally, security when is built in the right way, normally we do defense in depth, means that we have multiple layers of security and we try to see that if one thing is impacted, hopefully it should not impact the others. But depends on what is impacted, right? So I won't say that there is one straight answer to that. But cloud security definitely is very challenging, very interesting, because cloud always touches internet, and internet is by default, by definition, insecure, right? So if your core entry to the cloud is blocked, then it's an issue and user will see. But let's say if something inside your database is hacked, but still end user are able to access it, you might not see it immediately, right?
Okay, thanks. I think Mr. Alam could unmute the mic and he can ask question. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Assalam alaikum.
Uh, I have a question. Uh, I landed here 2 years ago, and I have some background in web development from back home. I have a master's in cybersecurity, so now I want to break into cybersecurity from entry level, but I don't have hands-on experience. I have hands-on experience from in web development. So I just want to know how could I break into what tools should I learn. I personally from doing some research online using AI. So what I found to start, I've recently started learning Splunk. So I want to get into SOC or any entry level cybersecurity. So if you can guide me in that, so how could I break into cybersecurity? Having masters, I have theoretical knowledge, but I don't have any hands-on experience.
Alam, the point is that definitely your credentials are good. I think you have done master in cybersecurity is a heavy degree for sure. But important thing is that entry into the field. If you look at this job posting these days, there is not a single job posting asking for juniors to join, right? Unfortunately, this is the bad thing. The market is not even I would see that all the time. I see it at least intermediate level, right? So when they say intermediate level means that they're expecting someone has hands-on, means they have look and feel and touch of the tools and systems, right? You mentioned Splunk, right? Splunk is a very high-end tool, by the way. It's very expensive tool, right? And even not many organization buying that tool because it's very expensive. Because I've done a lot of Splunk projects, so I understand Splunk is very high-end. Recently bought by Cisco, right? So for $40 billion, one of the largest deal in the industry. So I don't know how you can get so much experience with the Splunk. In my view, try to gain experience with the tools that you can get hands-on, right? Alim Bhai, I think, has a one of the material where he have a list of the tools. Even in my slide deck, I have added a list of free tools that you can work on. You can get some experience on. The point is that I can see your challenge is that you have credentials, but you don't know how to get into the field, right? the the right way is to gain some experience and do some dummy project, right? Pick some project and write in your CV that I have done this project, I have done this private project, I secured this environment, I have built this environment, I have built this Splunk or any other SIM tool, and I created alerts and investigated alert. You have to show off your thing. In my view, important thing is to showcase your skills and show off your skills. This is very important in the industry. Otherwise, if you just say that you have this degree and you have done all these certifications, it's not enough. People caring less now for certification, they are caring more for the hands-on and the project that you have. So in my view, yeah, Alim, I just posted something on the chat window, just take it out. This kind of thing you have to do, make sure that you take use of these things. Even I think I've taken this kind of slide in my slide deck also, the link to the tools, and try to put some projects around that, and at least say that you have experience of working those tools, because at least in that case you can say that I am experienced in these tools. I'm not starting from ground zero, right?
Okay, okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
Haris
makes
bhai,
sense.
if there are no more questions, we should close the webinar by thanking our respected speaker, Mr. Haris Chughtai, for sharing valuable knowledge and guidance with us today. And we also thank our NEDAC President, Mr. Zubair Bati, and NEDAC Vice President, Dr. Aves, executive team, and all participants for attending and supporting this webinar. We hope this session provided useful insights and innovation, motivation for your professional journey. Please stay connected with NEDAC for future webinars and community activities. Thank you very much and have a nice day.
Just a quick suggestion, I would say, or
Okay, Jared bhai, go
the,
ahead.
the good part is that I noticed that you guys, the training and the other people are available to help the NEDians, their sons, their kids, as well as whosoever needs some help. So it's good to, appreciate that, recognize that you guys have shown the intent of your availability, and I really appreciate that. Thank you, and you guys did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Javed bhai, for your kind words. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alaikum assalam.
Thanks. Goodbye.